Hi everyone, this is Richard Osborne. This video contains excerpts from a conversation I recently had with a good friend and colleague, Joss Frimond, on what I've been doing over the last 2 years to really increase the success rate of the homeworks and the outside of classwork I've been giving to my language learners. So I really hope you get some good advice out of this, and thanks a lot for listening.
The principle of homework is to put in place the ability for the learner to expose themselves more to the language than what you're giving them just in your face-to-face lessons, which is probably not enough to make them make realistic progress. Creating homework is not that much different than creating in classwork in terms of you've got some sort of pedagogic objective, you've got the content, and you've got questions or some sort of guide that's leading the learner towards discovering the vocabulary in that content or the grammar point within that content. So when you're in class with the learner, you're physically and vocally guiding them towards the point. When they're at home, it has to be designed such that they can get there on their own. So the rubric has to be right to be able to guide them there on their own. We need to put something in there that leverages that thing that they like, which is speaking with us, that they have to have something in there that will make them feel like we're there almost with them, So for me, over the last 2 years, I've been experimenting with recording myself in video. So at the beginning, I was doing that with WhatsApp, where you can record audio and video directly into the platform, and YouTube, just recording myself on my phone on YouTube and sending the link to my learners. And that suddenly got me way more replies because it wasn't no longer, I have this work to do of this boring process. It was, I have a message from that cool, interesting trainer. That just socially is going to make people reply. And so they're going to, like in the classroom, inherently learn language, implicitly learn language, because they feel like they're conversing. They don't feel like they're doing work. So you take away that work feeling from the homework. So there's one thing that you can do there that adds an extra level of accountability to what you're doing, which is that when you're doing your initial interview, when you're doing your evaluation with the learner, you can record the evaluation and make sure to put some sort of role play in there. So if this is a professional and they're a receptionist and they need to welcome visitors, then you make sure that you do some sort of dialogue with them in the test to say, okay, we're going to do this and I'm going to record it. Hi, how are you doing? I'm here to see Mr. Blah, blah. Okay. And then you have evidence that at the end of the course, if you do like an exit test and get them to do a recording again, you record them on your phone, on your computer, whatever, get their permission, obviously, and then record them doing the same sort of role play again. Even if they come back to you and say, there wasn't enough this, there wasn't enough that, you can say, well, look at these 2 videos. So once again, if you've recorded yourself, if you've got some sort of video of yourself, audio of yourself, very short thing, just introducing the subject that they can listen to at home, that you can send them, helps to remind them that they have work to do and helps to engage them by thinking, my teacher told me to do it, like just there now, I'm going to go on the internet and do it. I'm going to click the link with the video he sent or she sent and do the homework. Then that's something that you can do better. So that if you do blended learning, but add those elements into it that can make it better, then that's one way that you can improve. So I can really highly recommend people read books, the literature that's out there on language training, first of all, just as a way to become a bit more of an expert language trainer. Listen, I've got a podcast that, you're listening to that I'm doing to try to give people advice. It's something you can listen to while you're on the train, do your own sort of e-learning, listen on the train or whatever. But you've got to try to find that internal motivation to really want to improve, to feel like you can improve, to feel like there's ways to improve, because obviously there's always ways to improve. No teacher is perfect. No teaching technique is perfect. There's always new things to learn, always new things to try out. Now, when you've got that foundation in place, that you really feel passionate about the idea of improving and making, not just making your learners happier, but also making the language learning process more effective that you're doing, which is possible, you really can. Then go out and start experimenting. If anybody out there is doing video lessons, so doing stuff on Skype or Zoom or Adobe Connect or WebEx or whatever the platform is, you can greatly improve your teaching by trying to start integrating Google Drive and the Google App Suite into what you're doing, because it is a very collaborative, very online, very easy platform. So Google Drive is there to create a folder for the learner that you're teaching or the group that you're teaching, and to start putting materials in there related to different lessons that you're doing. So a folder for the group, And within that, folders for each lesson, each day that you see them, right? Then once you've got that day in there, the first day that you see them, you're going to put in a Google Doc. And that Google Doc it's like Microsoft Word, but it's on Google, it's online. It's going to contain any important information from that class, the links that you need them to go to do revision, to study grammar points, the vocabulary that you taught them, maybe examples of some mistakes that they made you can put in there for them to correct for homework. Any kind of information, important information that they can take away from the class should be going into the Google Doc. Then you can also do, if you're teaching online, we can do what's called a Google Drawing, which is another Google app. It's free. Just type in Google Drawing on the internet and you'll find it. Or put a link under this podcast. You can get there that way. It's a whiteboard where you can draw, scribble, write text, draw shapes, do whatever. And it's collaborative again. So you can either just save that into the drive or have your learners come in and edit it. So Google Drive to organize everything, Google Docs to get your information in there, Google Drawings to draw stuff, share with your learners afterwards. And then YouTube either on your phone or if you have something on your computer to record, so you can record parts of your lesson if it's in a classroom, or parts of the Skype call. You can actually record, Skype you can record. That's a new feature. You can actually do screen recording, so you can record what you're saying with the other person. Zoom, obviously, you can do it. Adobe, obviously. WebEx, probably. I haven't tried it in a long time. But that, doing a recording, not necessarily the whole class, but of the key parts of the class. Stop the learner and be like, okay, I'm going to record this because I think this is important. I'm going to tell you about this grammar point. I'm going to record it. I'm going to put that recording into the file, into your file, into your Google Drive. Record the role plays that you're doing with them, put them in there. At the end of the class, record a video of yourself introducing the homework. Record a video of yourself modeling the sentences that you're asking them to do for homework in the Google Doc. And then you're creating a Google Doc with the sentences for homework that you want them to do, possibly based on what you did in the classroom, mistakes that they made, or something they need to prepare for the next lesson. Whatever it is, get yourself in there in a video and put that video in there. Either record a video literally like MP4 and put it into the Google Drive, or record a video on YouTube, which is my favorite way of doing it, and then put that video link into the Google Doc at the top of the questions. These are the kinds of activities that suddenly it's not homework. It's not just static, I'm sitting doing self-study kind of work. It's genuinely like interesting, communicative, productive tasks that you would like to do in class or outside of class. There's not that much of a difference between what you're doing if you're recording yourself and listening to the teacher. There's not that much of a difference what you're doing for homework than what you're doing inside class. Now, it's more work for the trainer. So why did I say do it in a lean way? The lean way is to design yourself a simple experiment. Say, okay, well, one learner, I'm going to try recording some parts of it and putting it into Google Drive. And then I'm going to try making that into a homework, and we'll see how it goes. And you get that learner on board. It has to be somebody who really likes that kind of concept and they like trying new things and they're not going to complain about it. Start that experiment up and agree with yourself that you're going to review the results of that really carefully. Look at how they replied, how quickly did they reply, how elaborate was their reply, and then try it again. Did they also do the second homework? Try it again. Did they do the third homework? Or did they start losing interest? Is that maybe because I'm not making the activities varied enough? Really try to get in there with a small scale experiment. Don't start suddenly making a Google Drive folder for all the current learners you have, and then you do something stupid and they all start not liking it and getting annoyed at you. Bad idea. Do it with one learner, then do it with 2, and then do it with 4, and then do it with 6 or whatever. But, increase slowly and make sure that the approach that you're using is working, and then start rolling that out to other learners. And in the end, after a few months' time of doing this, you might have a really solid, interesting, motivating way of doing outside of classwork. And that's something you can really use to mix it up as a language trainer.
Thanks so much for listening. I really hope you got something useful out of that. And if you like the things that you heard today and you want to start doing your own digital homework, I really hope you check out LearnBook, which is the platform that I developed based on all of these different things that I've learned over the past 2 years about giving digital work to my language learners. Please feel free to book yourself in for a demo with me of the platform. I really look forward to seeing you soon, and thanks again.